Hey everyone, Jason here, digital marketing consultant, and in this advanced YouTube ad strategy guide, we're gonna be going through 5 simple steps you can take to cut down your YouTube ads costs. Make sure you check out the links in the description to a video that goes over a $5 a day YouTube ads plan, as well as a full video on how to get up and running A to Z with YouTube advertising. And in this video, we're just gonna focus on these bidding strategies because there is one constant you can count on with YouTube advertising, and that is costs are always going to keep going up. So whatever the costs now, they're virtually guaranteed to increase. That's just naturally how most advertising platforms work. So as costs increase, it's our job as entrepreneurs and marketers to decrease our costs to stay in the game and stay competitive. And when you stick around to the end, I'm gonna share with you a little bonus hack that I found that can literally cut your ad costs in half with just 30 seconds of work. So as we dive in here, there are only 3 bidding types that we have to choose from with YouTube ads, which is why it's so important to look at other places in your account to cut down on how much you're spending. So with YouTube ads, you pretty much have cost per view, where you pay per view, cost per 1,000 impressions, where you pay for every 1,000 impressions you get, and then cost per action. Now here, really you probably just wanna focus on cost per action and cost per view, unless all you care about is getting your video in front of as many people as possible. And I highly recommend not using costs per action until you've had at least 100 conversions on your landing page or your e-commerce site. Now, this first strategy that we have is going to sound so simple, you're just gonna laugh. And that is to cut your bid now. Like, all you need to do to lower your YouTube ad costs right now is to just lower your bid. And this is because, as simple as it sounds, the more you bid, the more you pay with YouTube ads. While it's not the same when you're doing search ads or display ads on the other parts of the Google Ads network, for some reason with YouTube, if you say you'll pay 30 cents, that's what you're going to pay. And so one of the first things you can do is just bring your bids down to 5 or 10 cents per view. If you wind up not having any views or not having any impressions, then bring it up a cent or two. But one of the first things we do with client accounts that we get is we just chop all of the bids in half and see what happens. It's actually amazing how many campaigns continue to perform at the lower rate. So what you bid is pretty much what you get. Now, the second strategy is a little more involved, and this is mobile versus desktop. So what you wanna do with your campaign is go into your reporting and take a look at what percentage of people are coming from desktop and what percentage of people are coming from mobile. As a general rule of thumb, when you eliminate desktop, your costs are going to go down because mobile views cost a lot less. However, you do want to, there's an asterisk here, you do want to make sure that mobile viewers are actually taking the actions you need. So for example, if you're just doing in-stream or discovery ads because you want someone to subscribe to your channel or you just want some brand awareness, then by all means, turn off desktop and just go 100% mobile, cut your costs right there. You don't even have to worry about it. However, if you're asking people to click on your ad and take an action on your site, you want to make sure that people are actually opting in to your landing pages from mobile devices. You want to make sure that people are actually purchasing on your e-commerce site from a mobile device. So you do want to make sure that you don't only focus on the ad costs. You want to make sure that that traffic is actually taking the actions you need, but definitely looking at your mobile and desktop traffic is a great way to either cut your ad costs on a cost per view basis or cut your ad costs on traffic that isn't worth it. Some of the campaigns we've gone through, we found that just taking off mobile, even though desktop costs more, we wound up getting a better cost per result that we wanted in terms of a sale or a lead because someone on a desktop was much more likely to take the action we want. So it's not always about just focusing in on what you're paying per view. We also always want to make sure that we're staying clear on the action we want someone to take after watching the video or clicking the video. Now, strategy number 3 is actually something that I get a little bit of flack for, but hey, I don't care. I just want my costs as low as possible, and that is turning on expanded inventory. Now, when it comes to your targeting options, YouTube Ads has changed the way that it allows you to decide what type of content your videos show up on. It now just has 3 options. And I found that when I click on expanded inventory, I actually get a much lower cost per view. And this is because big advertisers, especially here in the States, are scared of that expanded inventory. They're very, very conscientious about their brands. They're concerned about what types of videos their ads are playing next to. Now, personally, I don't care what videos my customers are watching. I don't care what videos my prospects are watching, as long as I connect with them and they take the action that I'd like them to take. Now, you might actually really be concerned about this. You might care, but YouTube does do a really good job of making sure that bad content isn't monetizable. So I found that just going to expanded inventory, you're all of a sudden playing in a very different marketplace because you're able to put ads on videos where you're not competing with giant brands who are spending a lot more money than you probably are. Now, number 4, dial in your targeting is going to be the most complicated out of all of these. So I'm going to go over this relatively briefly because this is going to be one of those that will take a really long time. But simply put, if you go into your campaign and you look at all of your targeting options, chances are there are demographics and there are types of targeting that are working better than others. And when you look at your breakdown of how much you're paying per view based upon these different options, you're going to want to look at your age, you're going to want to look at your genders, you're going to look at the channels you're targeting, the interests, the affinity, the remarketing, your, what's the last one, keywords, all of those targeting options that you may have going on inside of your YouTube ads. Chances are one channel or one keyword or one in-market or affinity audience is performing better than the rest. And all you need to do is duplicate your campaign inside of the Google Ads Manager and then turn off all the targeting but that 1 or 2 that's working really well and take 80% of your budget and slap it on that new campaign that you just duplicated. That way, 80% of your budget is actually going towards those few targeting options that are giving you the best results. And then the other 20%, you can continue to run ads on those other things just so you collect data and maybe you can find another diamond in the rough. That is a process that you're gonna go through over and over and over again as you continue to optimize your YouTube ads account. It does take a lot of work, but it's one of the ones that can pay off best long term. Now, finally, number 5 is to try discovery ads. For some reason, I talk to a lot of clients and we see a lot of accounts that only use in-stream advertising. And in-stream advertising, it's great. It forces people to watch for 15 or 5 seconds. However, it's always going to be more expensive than a discovery ad. And one of the things that we found is we can actually get lower cost per clicks, lower cost per view, lower cost per action of conversions or sales with a simple discovery ad. So what you can do is take your in-stream ad and create a new campaign and try running it the exact same settings. The only difference is you run it as a discovery ad. Now, what you'll have to do is you'll have to make sure that you put your call to action link as cards throughout your video. Remember, you can have up to 3 cards and then put it at the very top of your description. Of course, use UTM parameters and tracking links for all that stuff. If you don't know what that means, Google Analytics tutorial in the description to help you with that. And just like with the expanded inventory, what you're doing here is you're targeting the same people you need to target, but you're looking at a different way of targeting them. Whereas with the expanded inventory, we were going on videos that the big advertisers didn't want to advertise on. Here, instead of competing with everyone else who's trying to advertise in front of a video, we just move over to the side of the screen or below videos in the discovery ads inventory. And so you really want to think of who are you competing against, and the discovery ads inventory is much larger, so the costs are going to be a lot lower. And so that does it for the 5 strategies to optimizing your bids and cutting your costs. Now for that bonus tip. And this one is really, really just dead simple, and it works great, especially if you followed at least a couple of the 5 that we just talked about. And this is changing your bids based upon your impression share. So what you can do inside of your Google Ads account, when you're looking at your campaigns, you're going to want to go up and click to modify your columns, and you're going to click custom. Now, when you scroll down, you're going to be able to look at something called competitive metrics. And inside of those competitive metrics, you're going to want to check the boxes so you can see what your impression share is based upon your budget and your impression share based upon your relevance. And what this does is Google will tell you the percentage of impressions that you're missing out on as a result of your budget and your relevance to the audience that you're targeting. So what's super cool is if your impression lost is less than 70% for your budget column, that means you can probably lower your bid and still get the same number of impressions, because what that is telling you is, hey, it doesn't matter if we increase your budget or we increase your bids, we're already giving you like all the space that we have to offer. Again, remember, this is all about inventory. You're bidding against other advertisers for that advertising spot. And so if you're seeing in your impressions lost to budget column that you're losing less than 70%, 70 or 80% from your budget, that means you could either just lower the budget for the entire campaign, or what I actually personally recommend is just lower your cost per bid and see if you continue to get the same impression share. And of course, you can use Google reporting to see how your impressions and views, go up and down with that. But it literally takes 30 seconds. Just turn on those two columns. And if you see your impression share lost to budget is less than 70%, then just slice your bid in half and see what happens. It's actually pretty amazing because that metric right there is telling you, hey, you're actually really performing really well, and you might actually be overpaying because Google Ads doesn't have anyone else to fill that slot. And so if you're not competing with anybody else for those impressions, then just lower your bid and you're still going to get the impressions. It's super, super cool. I know that can be a little confusing, so make sure you check out the timestamp table of contents to jump around, especially with this last one because it is a little advanced. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some value out of this video and some actionable insights to improve your YouTube advertising costs. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more digital marketing tactics and strategies just like the ones covered in this video. Additional YouTube advertising tutorials and playlists in the description to help you maximize your success when it comes to YouTube advertising. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, and as always, keep building the business you love.